Welcome once again to your update from the city of New Hope. Time to get caught up on a lot happening in our favorite city. And with us is the mayor, Kathi Hemken. Welcome, Mayor. How are you today?
Hi, Dave. Glorious day out today.
It is fantastic. We're hitting a nice stretch of summer here. We're going to talk about a lot of things happening outside. Let's begin, though, with the West Metro Fire Rescue District. Some recent meetings and information passed along. Tell us a little bit about the work of the Fire Rescue District.
Well, above what they always do all the time is they went to the third grade classes to talk about fire safety. And they also went to the senior centers and to the care centers just to talk about fire safety. So as I'm looking at this and wondering about it, I remembered that when I was in third grade, I was a junior fire marshal. And here's my badge from third grade. So and I even remember the song, but I'm going to save you the embarrassment of singing it for you. So they really do a nice job on that, and they've been doing it for years, and it's very effective.
Definitely makes a lasting impression, not only the young people, also the senior citizens and some of those centers as well. Let's hop up to community development. A lot happening here. The first is the RAVE Awards. We want to let people know that the deadline is fast approaching.
They've got till the end of this week to get that in. And to make it a little bit easier, Jeff Elger, who is the person at the city who's running this, gave us his email address. You're going to put that on the screen. You can simply go into that email address and put the address of the property you'd like us to look at, just to make it a little bit easier to do rather than fill out the whole form. So if you go onto Jeff Elger's website, tell them the address and we'll go out and look at the property, and hopefully they'll be in the award category.
Next item to touch on is something that's in the talks related to the cities in this area, the school district, and realtors. Tell us about some of the conversations here.
Well, it's been brought up a couple times that we do a realtors forum. And so staff went and talked to Crystal and Robbinsdale to see if they were interested, and they are. And the whole idea is that we can highlight the homes that are for sale in those three areas. It also helps realtors get some of their education credits. We're also going to talk to the school district and see if they're going to be on board with this. I'm sure they are, because this is a really good promotional thing. So look for that to happen soon.
All right, more to come. We've got a couple topics here to pass along around energy, Center for Energy and Environment. Tell us about a couple of the neat ways that New Hope residents can maybe get some help.
These guys have been around for a long time. And just recently, they sent a letter to 207 of our commercial properties in the city, promoting something called One Step Efficiency Shop. So they could just go onto that website and get some ideas on how to save some money. Now, in the last 5 years that they've been doing this, they have had 58 members of the New Hope community being part of this, and gave rebates of over $870,000 back to those businesses, saving over 5 million kilowatt hours of electricity. So they're really good and effective. And if you need some help with your business, they're easy to get a hold of. The acronym CEE will get you in touch with them.
Okay, very good. And then you've also got some information about some of the loan reports that have been coming back. And again, explain a little bit of how this program works and benefits New Hope residents.
Well, CEE designates $80,000 to the city. And this is a 3-year program. And then we, in fact, pass it out to residents as a loan who need either some help with some energy problems or some emergency repairs. And so it's a loan, and now they're paying us back for that. And the money they pay back will go back into the program so that we can give money out to other people that need that. So if you have an emergency repair that you need and you don't have the money for it, always just call the city. What's the worst thing that can happen? They could say, no, we can't help you. But most of the time we can try to figure out how to help somehow.
Very good. The website, again, newhopemn.gov. Great place to find out that information. Also to find out about the curbside appeal program, and understand you have a few new homes that are in the mix.
So that program is still going on. We're up to 17 that we have approved. We will give you back or refund you 25% of your project up to a certain dollar amount, but you have to have your project approved before. So if you're going to put in a new door with some side windows, something that has curbside appeal to it, simply go to the city, again, the Jeff Elger website, go to him and he'll tell you what you need to do and get you approved, and then you get some money back.
All right, let's hop to scattered site housing. A number of updates to pass along here as there's lots of activity happening during summer. The first is 3611 Louisiana, understanding some purchasing and agreements have been put through.
They have. So they're pretty much put through. We're going to sign on that on the 28th of August. So it will take a while for that to go through. Right now, they're doing all the stuff, getting ready for that closing.
Over to the corner of 42nd and Boone, just amazing how fast some properties come up here. Tell us about the next phase of what's happened there.
Well, the external walls are up. You know, driving, you can't really drive by because Boone is closed, but you could make a U-turn if you really wanted to see it, I guess. But the walls are up now, the exterior walls, and they're going to wrap the house probably sometime this week. And then they'll get inside and start doing inside stuff. So that's exciting to watch that go up.
Up to 4965 Winnetka. We've been talking about this property that's going to be split, but there's some training going on ahead of that split. Tell us who's out there doing some training.
Well, the SWAT team was out there last week doing the training. Now the canine dog is going to be there on the 25th, and they'll do some training with the canine dog. And after that's done, then I think there's some training going on in October too with the fire department. But the other thing that's happening to that is the city sent this to our attorney, who is sending it to the title examiner, asking them to remove any covenants that are on the property, if there is any. We don't think there is, but we want to make sure that all the covenants are removed so that becomes a clean piece of property.
Next is 5306 Rhode Island, and a lot of outside work happening here as that house is about buttoned up.
Well, it is. The landscaping's done. The sod hasn't been laid because it's been too hot, but now that it's a little cooler, I think they can get that sod down. So that house is being listed for $579 at the moment. So if you haven't seen it, it's absolutely beautiful inside.
Last property is 5802 Boone. We've been talking quite a bit about this over the past months and maybe even year longer than that, but progress continuing to move ahead, and it sounds like extra work underground needed.
Some things just never go away, and this is one of them. So they always do a sewer lining when there's a property like this. So they went to do the sewer lining. It turns out there was a dip in the sewer lining, or the sewer line. So that's got to come out, and a new line has got to be put in, and that'll be done coming from the north on Boone Circle. So again, it's just one more delay about many, but they are doing some stuff, getting ready for the demolition. So after that's done, and then they'll start to look for a demolition contractor.
Next update is the business networking group between Crystal and New Hope, and they've got a fun event coming up. If you're watching this update early, you still have a chance to get there. When is this special event?
On Wednesday the 19th at 3 o'clock at Pocket Square. They have things to drink there that aren't alcoholic, by the way. So if you just want to go and be part of that networking group and not drink, that's just fine too. There'll be a little update from the city, but mostly what it is just networking. So that's going to be on the 19th of July at Pocket Square at 3 o'clock. The next one will be August 2nd. That'll be at New Hope City Hall, and that's sponsored by Opus, Opus Musical Academy. So they'll be there at 8:30, and you'll learn a little bit about Opus and what they do and how you can get involved if you want to.
Great. A couple other business updates from the city as we pass along some information. Use of occupancy permits and certificates, a lot of permit action going on, and a few new businesses to update residents on.
We have a small inspection department, and this just amazes me. In the month of June, they issued 307 either permits or inspections that they did, compliance inspections. I think that's really exciting. So 2 new businesses are coming. One's called Waves of Change. So it's individual psychotherapy, and that's at 9220 Boone. And there's another one, Finish Line Barbershop, which is on 43rd and Winnetka. Both of those are new businesses coming in. And I understand that Nautical Bowls, right next to Lifetime off of 42nd, is really close to opening. So that one should be fun too. If you want a menu that you don't understand what those things are, it's fun to go see.
I'm sure the staff will be ready to help you out. One final business note to pass along. New Hope Church, a secondary building that they have, a little work going on there in the near future.
Well, that secondary building, they have a food shelf there.
Right.
And all of the businesses and homes in New Hope have to have their dumpsters enclosed. Well, apparently they didn't have their dumpster enclosed, so we've issued a permit to them and they'll be enclosing that dumpster. It's just, we really don't want that to be seen from the street, and they should be in enclosure, so they're gonna just be in compliance now.
Okay. Next part of our update is from the police department, and first thing that we'll update you on is some training activity. Always seems to be training going on with the police staff.
Well, there's lots of training facilities around for us to use. We used to have a fire range in New Hope in the fire department, actually, but that was just too noisy, so they don't. So they're doing some firearms training both in Forest Lake, and there's the one in Maple Grove. And so our officers all go to those trainings on a regular basis. So that's kind of what they're doing this month.
And
They're
also,
also
go.
So one of our captains went to a youth intervention meeting with Hennepin County,
Mhm.
just so that we're all on the same page and we're all on board with that. We had a community conversation at Lions Park last week with our community service officer and I gotta read this because it's a long title, the Joint Community Police Partnership Liaison. Boy, I'd shorten that to something. So they were at Lions Park cooking hot dogs and hamburgers for the residents around there.
Let's hop ahead to Public Works and tell people some of the activities they're busy with. And I think it involves weeds and softball. Is that correct?
That does. You know, they are out there doing all kinds of stuff, mowing and watering and trimming, and this is just the extra stuff they're doing. Well, because of the Duck Duck Duel, which is the softball tournament that takes place instead of Duck Duck Days, they have to get those fields ready. So that's what they were doing last week, getting those fields ready. And now this week they're going in and fixing the fields if there was any damage, or picking up just the garbage and the trash that's caused for that. So it takes a lot of their time to do that.
Mhm.
The other thing they're doing is they're spraying the weeds along the boulevards. So if you see the truck going by spraying some stuff, that's what they're doing. They're spraying that. So our forester is still out there putting big dots on the trees that have to come down. He hasn't got them all covered yet, but he keeps doing that. And if you have an emerald ash that you think needs to come down on the boulevard and doesn't have an orange dot, call the forester at City Hall and give them the address. They'll come out and do that.
Very good. All right. Next update. Let's go to the streets, Mayor, and talk about some of the fun work that's happening on the streets and under the streets. First, we've got some replacement of water main and storm sewer repairs. Where's that area?
This is an old city, so a lot of the stuff is really, we're trying to line it when we can, but when it breaks a lot, we have to replace it. Well, they're doing a replacement now on Yukon between Aquila and 36th. And so all the neighbors, of course, know what's going on. They get a little update. But if you happen to drive by and see all that's going on, that's what's going on. They're replacing that.
All right, let's hop over to 42nd. A lot of activity there, as people know, and a few detours to deal with. What is the latest on that project?
Well, last weekend they had closed off 42nd, last week, but then they opened it up temporarily so all these swimming parents could get to the swim meet, but now it's closed again. And the reason they closed it is they have to remove all the concrete and they really don't want cars zipping by. So you cannot turn north onto Xylon from 42nd, nor can you be on Xylon and go onto 42nd. So just that intersection is closed. Now, a little bit up the road where the Boone intersection is, that whole intersection is closed. You can't go east or west or north or south. They're tearing up all of the concrete. And again, they need to have room to work to do that. So you'll have to detour around that. They think that that job will be done the end of July. Now, one of the things that happened is they found that concrete was a little more difficult to remove than they thought. And so we let them work on Saturday. That's not something we usually these guys do, but I know how important it is to get that intersection back open, and they want to keep on schedule, and that's the way to keep on schedule. So we did give them a permission to work on Saturday so they could just stay on schedule, and hopefully we'll have that open again the end of July.
Sounds good. The key is to plan a little extra time if you're heading through that area of town. All right, to Park and Rec we go, and this is the key booklet for you to keep looking into. We've had it around for months, and it's still very valuable because it's camp time, Mayor. And so you've got a couple pages in here that are key for people looking for camps.
They are. So we have a lot of camps, almost too many to mention. just dealing with any kind of sport you can think of. And on pages 19 to 22 in that book that lists all of them. Some of the camps are starting this week, some are next week, but now is the time to get registered for that. Want to remind people that we have funds to help cut the cost of that down. They just have to come and apply. And if you qualify, no, the only qualification is you have to live in New Hope. And if you need help with some of those funds, the city will pay for half of that fee, and then you'll pay the other half. So 19 to 22 are the pages to look at.
Right
If
here.
you don't have your in motion, you can go to City Hall and pick one up. And I do know that we're working on the fall and winter in motion. Oh gosh, that seems, I don't want to even think about it.
A lot of lead time for the planning is necessary. Here's something else that you can't plan for is bad weather. I understand bad weather took out one of the movies in the park, but they're looking to reschedule.
Well, we were going to show Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, but it rained. And of course, we can't show it in the rain. So they're looking for an alternate date. Once they have that, I will actually pass that on. But you can look at the reader boards. You can go on the website and get that. You can always just call City Hall and they'll give you that date. So we don't know what the date is yet, but we're trying to find. Right now, what's happened is the Performance Center is so busy with other stuff. It's really hard to find a date to reschedule that, but we'll get a time to do that. And those movies typically start like at 9:00, 9:15 when it's dark.
Great opportunity to head out. We'll tell you about another opportunity at that same venue. But first, let's talk a little bit about that Duck Duck Duel softball. It was this past weekend. How did things go?
Oh, it went fabulous. You know, they do a really good job of not only scheduling the teams and getting the playoff brackets all done. They have to schedule people to pick up the parks. They have to schedule people to be umpires. So it's a really big deal to put this tournament on. We don't put it on, we just support it. The Lions are the ones that put it on. It's a way of keeping Duck Duck Days kind of active, but it isn't the same as it used to be.
Right.
But it's back to that's what started Duck Duck Days with softball tournaments. So it's been going on for a long time.
That's fun. Hats off to all the people involved in that process. All right, now back to the entertainment center, and the fun that's coming up now is Sound of Music. Who's behind these great performances, and what do we need to do if we want to go enjoy it?
So I've been listening to them singing for the last month outside. And when it rains, they'll come into City Hall in the evenings and they'll be singing. So there's singing going on all over the place. So they're going to be doing the Sound of Music. They'll be doing it Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, starting this Wednesday, the 19th. It'll be this week and next week. And it'll be at the Performance Center. It starts at 8 o'clock. And because we don't have bleachers, you need to bring a lawn chair or a blanket to sit on to watch this. And it's free, but they're asking a suggested donation of $5 just to kind of defray some of the costs of putting this on. But if you haven't seen a play there, you really must. I always try to see it 2 or 3 times because it's just so fantastic to watch that. And you're sitting outside under the stars.
Yeah. Fantastic place, fantastic show. You mentioned fall a little bit earlier. Let's mention fall again with the dancers. Already time to look ahead to fall.
Well, typically what we do is we open up registration, and this is the 4th through the 12th graders, and these are the kids that have been in the dance program before. So we open that up to the returning dancers first, and then after they all sign up, all the rest of the spots then can be filled with new dancers. So that'll be announced when you'll be able to get your new dancers signed up. But if you've got a returning dancer, now's the time to get in there and get them signed up.
All right, one more mention of fall coming up here. Let's talk about rentals at the gym and athletic fields. Again, for teams looking ahead to fall activities, they need to act now.
Oh, they do. They do. That fills up so quickly. And so you need to either get yourself scheduled for the community gyms or one of the ball fields if you need that. Also, this is the time to rent the pavilion, both in the back of the golf course and the one at Civic Center Park. All of that stuff fills up pretty quickly. And so anything that's coming up that you want to rent, you got to get in there pretty quick. Now that the graduation season's open or done, there's more openings at the golf course for that space, but it fills up pretty quickly.
All right, get out there and make your reservations. Here's something you might not know about in the city and some great pictures here. There is a urban orchard within the city of New Hope. What's there and how can residents take advantage?
We have a park called Little Acres Park. It's north of 49th, between Yukon and Zealand.
Mhm.
In the last 5 years, we've planted, I gotta read this, apple, apricot, pear, peach, plum, and cherry trees. And now they're starting to bloom and bear fruit. So if you want to see these trees, it's our little urban orchard right there in the middle of the city. It's really kind of exciting to see that. And now the fact that they're actually bearing fruit, that's exciting too.
Very neat. All right, let's go to a couple of the park and rec facilities to give you an update of what's happening there. And this past weekend at the golf course, there were lots of little golfers, but very skilled golfers.
Well, the PGA Junior Golf uh, tournament was there. 73 7 to 12-year-olds playing golf. And each of this four-person team, they were all dressed alike, each team, and they were so respectful and so good. So 73 of these kids were there playing. It was really exciting to see the golf course full and them playing. So we're excited that they're there and they've been coming back for numerous years.
Fantastic. Over to the ice arena. Also some practice going on there. Some teams already in for tryouts, I understand, and some summer practice.
Well, the Upper Midwest Prep Elite tryouts were last Sunday. I don't know what that means, but I guess it probably means the really good hockey players try out for the elite team. So those tryouts were last week. They did have open skating on Saturday and Sunday, and they will again. That continues on but you have to call and check to make sure that it's open and they're having it that weekend. And then we've got STS coming in and they're cleaning up the glass on the south rink. So by the time we actually get started full blown with the tournaments. So the other things that's happening is the high school kids are practicing there. So Cooper Armstrong girls and boys are practicing there. The Totino Grace girls are practicing there. And the Totino Grace are the boys. And the girls are from Benilde.
Benilde St. Margaret. All right. A lot of activity at the ice center and also lots of activity at the swimming pool this past weekend because you had a lot of in and out of town guests coming. What was the big event?
So it was the regional swim meet and the parking lot was full. Most of the Hy-Vee parking lot was full. Lots and lots of kids coming. And these are kids like 7 to 14. And it's a swim meet. They actually rent the pool from us for this swim meet. But the whole deal was when they gave us the money to put in the extra 2 lanes on the 50-meter pool, we guaranteed that they would have a weekend a year to have this swim meet. Well, that was the weekend last weekend. But the other part of that is while all these people are here, they're going to Hy-Vee shopping, they're going to the restaurants eating, they're spending money at the gas pumps. So they're bringing a lot of commerce into the city. It's really a good thing for the city. And to see that pool that full of people is really exciting. A lot of those kids now will come back and use the pool just for recreation too.
Yeah.
So it's a good thing. But the people who have season passes or wanted to swim just on their own, sorry about that.
Right. Got it. All right. Let's go to human resources. Some activity as far as staffing goes. A couple positions filled and 1 opening. Tell us about all 3 of those.
So we hired a utility billing clerk, and she's going to start on the 28th of August. We've also hired a police clerk, and she's going to start on the 24th of July. And then we're looking for a CSO. Typically, when we have a job opening, we have to post the job internally. We have to have 2 qualified candidates before we go outside. We did not have 2 qualified candidates to sign for that job. It's pretty much an entry level. And so we will then go outside. And that will be until the 24th of July. So if you want to come work for New Hope as a CSO, you've got till the 24th of July to apply for that job. And you can go online to look at that application. And if you get confused and you can't, you can always call City Hall. They'll guide you through it.
All right. Employee of the quarter. We have someone that we want to pass along some well-deserved recognition to.
Well, the guy who runs our pool, the pool supervisor, his name is Tony Portizan, and Tony is going to get the Employee of the Quarter award. When you look at what's been happening at that pool, and how much and how well coordinated that is, he certainly deserves the supply of the quarter.
Congratulations to Tony. A couple final notes to pass along in our update today. First is National Night Out. That date is coming quickly. It is Tuesday, August 1st. But Mayor, you want people to get their party registered right now.
Well, we do. We need to know where the parties are. And what we do is we try to schedule all the cars that go out. So most of the city council goes out with a police officer, and they'll have a bunch of places to go. I get to go out with the city manager and the police chief in that big black thing, car. And we go to as many parties as they schedule us for. Basically, we spend 10 minutes there. It's a chance to talk to the police officers. It's a chance to talk to my new city manager. And, I'm just there as another pretty face, I guess. But it's really fun to go to all the parties.
Yeah, neat night. So go to the city's website to find out more. City Services Survey that has just gone out. Again, why is that so important for the city, and what do you hope residents do?
Well, that was mailed in the July utility bills, so you probably got it already. Do fill it out, please. And you can either bring it back to City Hall, you can mail it back. You can also go online, our website /survey, and fill it out online. It takes about 3 minutes. We actually read every single one of those. And there's a place for comments, a place for what you think we can do better, what you think we're doing a good job. We take compliments as well as concerns. But it's really important that we get that back from you. So fill it out. And if you happen to live in an apartment and you don't get it in the mail, you can go online, or you can go to City Hall and get one and fill that out. And if you fill it out at City Hall, it takes 3 minutes, drop it in the box, and you're done.
Perfect. Final note to pass along. You wanted to mention a little about farmers market and kind of the status looking forward of a farmers market again in New Hope.
I'm so disappointed that we're not having a farmers market. That's not a city organized event, by the way. That's done independently. And we lost the person who was doing that. She just got tired, quite frankly. And so we're looking for a new manager for that farmers market. We'll train that person. We'll help that person as much as we can. When I say we, me and the rest of the group from the board, but there's nobody on the board that wants to do that. Mm-hmm. And so we're looking for somebody. It does pay. I don't know what the pay is, and that would all be discussed at a later time. But if they're interested in doing that, I'd love to talk to them. How they can find me is just call City Hall. Tell me you want to know about the farmers market. Ask them for my home phone number. They'll give it to you. Please call me. I'm not really good at the computer. My fingers are too fat. My nails are too long. And I hit the wrong key all the time. I'd rather just talk to you about it. No pressure at all. If we find somebody, fine. If we don't, well, we just won't have a farmer's market.
All right. Very good. The mayor has that offer open to you to chat with her. And that's your update this week from the city of New Hope. As you see a lot going on, go to the city's website, newhopemn.gov, to stay in touch. Mayor, thanks for your time. Look forward to see you again next week.
Thanks, Dave. See you then. Learn more about The Connection at ccxmedia.org and follow us on social media.